Yeah, I think we're going to be all right. We got a good group of kids. These young men have won a lot of ball games. They know how to win. It's just put it all together, right now, offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. But I got a lot of confidence in this group. I mean, this senior class has been a big part of our winning tradition here at Fort Hays, and we're going to figure it out. They're going to find a way to get things done, and they're going to learn how to play harder and play physical and get back to their old ways. I mean, this is just I know this group, and the young kids underneath them. I've seen it, grow as they've been here as well. So I'm excited about this group as well, and I still know there's a lot of season to go. That's left, and we had two tough games to start the season, and they're not going to get any easier. And we realize now that we just have to play better. It was a mixture of both in our run game. It's one guy maybe missing his block, or the back not being patient enough to understand where the double team was exactly at, or maybe hitting the wrong hole, or not trusting his guys up front. So it wasn't just one thing. I mean, it was a mixture of things that kind of didn't allow us to get our run game established. And so that's something we're really working on hard this week, is making sure our backs are more patient and make sure we solidify those blocks a little bit more than what we did last week, and make sure our communication is better as well along the front line. I think it's in any scheme that you run, unless you're just a straight air raid offense, where I think we have to be able to establish that run game. And I feel like we have the guys up front to do that. I mean, they're big, they're strong, they're physical, and again, we still got some guys that were injured last year that are playing right now, and this is only game 2. And then we got 2 new guys that haven't played with us at all. So this is their first 2 games as well. So the only one that's really returning is, Amari from last year. So I think this group, as the year goes on, it'll get better. Defensive lines right now that we played aren't as big as they have been. It's just, I think it's the quickness, I mean, they're a little bit smaller, a little bit quicker than what you're typically used to as an offensive line. Usually like 300-pound guys, 280, that don't move quite as well as these young men are that we're playing against right now. So, but as it goes on, we'll get better. It's just communication, talking, getting used to one another, understanding. It's a feel. I mean, offensive line, it's a feel. You've got to know exactly what the other guy's doing, and you can't see it happen. You just have to feel it happen, and I think that's going to get better as the weeks go on. I think he's done pretty well. I really have, and what we all have to understand is that was only his 4th start, as a Tiger for us, and he's only going to get better as the season goes on. I mean, at times I thought he stared down receivers, but really that's the only side we're going to throw to anyway. So, and they were playing zone coverage, so you're really not staring too much down anyway. The batted balls, I mean, that's just part of the game. I think defensive linemen are being really taught now, if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up. And that's something you haven't seen, a lot in the past. Guys that just keep trying to get to the sack instead of just batting balls down. But I think he's played well. I mean, I think he played well enough for us to win ball games. A lot of drop balls, that are going to be called incompletions on his part when there really should be completed. But it's just guys stepping up and making plays for him. I mean, last week he only got hit twice, but when you go back and look at the grand scheme of things, it's just guys not catching balls, guys not running the correct routes. And when that happens, sometimes you lose confidence as a quarterback. But with Chance, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, he understands the game, knows where guys are supposed to be, and maybe that'll make him become more of a leader, make sure those guys are doing things the proper way. It is, it really is. And right now they just need to figure out, who they are and what they want to do. I still think it's a really, really good group. I mean, when you got, Matt Wendelberger at tight end, Harley Hazlett at receiver, Jay Bieberly at receiver, or Lane Bieberly at receiver, Andrew Jay, as well, and guys, and DeAndre Reed, a lot of guys that have a lot of reps for us to play a lot of football. They just need to figure out, how bad they truly want it. And I think they do. It's just them making sure that they play hard for 4 quarters and play hard every single play and run their routes hard. And then when it's your number's called, catch the ball and go make something happen. And that's something that we need to get back to doing, and that's something we haven't done the last few weeks. It's funny because you think that it'd be pretty familiar, right? But when you go back and look at it, things change, over time. We were looking, I mean, this is my 9th season here, so I haven't been there for 9 years. And so things have changed a little bit with what they're doing defensively with the new coordinator. When Coach Harris was there, we knew exactly what was happening because he ran the same defense I did. But now that they've got a new coordinator, and Brock Luke, that it's changed a little bit, and Zach Watkins helping out too. Just some of their coverages, some of the things they do up front as well are a little bit different, but they're basically the same concepts. And then offensively, they've changed both weeks. 1 week they were a lot of 12 personnel and then 22 personnel with big guys up front against Lincoln just trying to pound the ball. And last week you saw more 11 than anything else. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But the familiarity has changed a little bit. I don't think we're not as familiar with him as we used to be, but it's still there. Mitchell's awesome. He's, I've known him since he was, golly, almost what 20 years. I mean, he was tiny, when I first met him. So, he's just a great kid. He's a very, very smart football player. Knows the game very well. Of course, as being a quarterback, his dad's a quarterback coach. He's got to know the game really well. Makes good decisions, with the ball. Knows where his receivers are at. Can get the offensive line protections that they need to be in. So, I mean, just to see him grow and mature and to take that position over is awesome to see because I know he's deserving of it because I know he's worked his tail off to get to that position and he's done the things needed to play that position as a head coach. That's hard too, on Coach Schurig, having his son as the quarterback and people probably question you here and there about your decision on who the quarterback is, but I think he's perfectly capable of getting the job done and I've seen it, just not from last year, but even this year, in the 2 games that he's played, he's done a great job. It is, you just can't. You got to take the personal part of it out. When my son's on the field, he's just another football player. Then when we get home, maybe it's back to dad. But when it comes to football and playing the game, he's just another one of our players. And Schurig does the exact same thing with Mitchell, I'm sure. So, but I think that's just the way it has to be. You don't want to show favoritism towards your son. In front of your players. I hope I don't do that. I want to make sure that he's treated the same way everybody else is treated. And, if not, hopefully my guys step up and tell me, hey, Coach, you're favoring your kid. But hopefully I haven't done that so far, and I don't plan on doing it. Yeah, I think they're finding their identity. We've got a lot of new faces on that side of the ball. Had some couple injuries as well, that have hurt, across the board too. So I think they have. I mean, I think just the young guys and the new guys getting in there are starting to understand what we want defensively, and they're starting to, figure out their role, on that defense. You've had some guys really step up and make some great plays. Tanner Hookman's playing really well for us right now. Jordan Starks, I think, is doing a great job at that safety position. But I think that helps with Tanner being back there, just knowing the defense so well and able to help him out a little bit. Hayden Kreitzer stepped in and done a great job for us, too, who, he's been here a while, hadn't really ever got that start, but he stepped into a role now where he's starting and is doing a great job, and Colt's doing the same thing. So, I think they really have found their what we can do defensively, what our kids are comfortable doing. And, I think they're executing better now. They're becoming better tacklers. And, good things are happening on that side of the ball right now. They play hard. They play really hard. They play physical, on both sides of the ball. Very good, with the run game and play action, is a big part, I think, for our defense, being prepared, for the play action part of it. And defensively, they play a lot of quarters and they play some man as well. If they do play man coverage, we got to be able to beat the press coverage, and be alert for their blitzes as well. I mean, but I think they're solid across the board, on offense and defensive lines. I mean, I think they're both very physical. They move very well, and I think their skill guys are very talented. So, we got to come. The thing I think this week that we really got to focus on is we got to come play hard for every single play, which I don't think we've done the last 2 weeks, and we got to play physical every single play, and that's something that we've really been preaching. And I told them yesterday in practice, there's 2 things I can't control: how hard you play and how physical you play. And the only people that control that is you. And if we can bring both those to the table this week, I think great things are going to happen for this team. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because down the bowl or it just seems like it's really quiet. I don't know. It's just it's a different atmosphere. It really, truly is. I can't really explain, what it is. You hear the band quite a bit. You don't really hear much of, the home side. The visitor side is usually not very many people there. It's just your own fans. So it's a little bit different when we got, 100 to 200 people on your sideline instead of the crowd that you normally have from your opponents as well, just heckling in your ear. So I don't know. It's just it's quiet. It's just I don't know what it is. It kind of lulls you to sleep a little bit. It's more like a practice atmosphere probably than a game atmosphere. But that's something we got to overcome. And we haven't played well there, since I've been here. But hopefully this week it's a different story. Our kids are hungry and they want to go get something done. Yeah, you do. I mean, that's any time on the road. We travel with 60 players, and you got 10 or 11 coaches, and we got 5 or 6 trainers, and you got a couple managers, and that's it. Then you'll have the parents that do come that travel, with the team quite a bit, but still it's not enough. It's not like having a home game where you got 5,000-6,000 people. I mean, there's going to be a total of probably 300 of you all together, including your fans. So you have to create your own energy. You got to have your own excitement, and that goes to me as a coach. I got to bring that excitement as well to get these kids ready to play.